Okay. The light bulb is acting up. But I was asked if the DT990 Premium Edition 250 ohm could be saved. It has a 6 kilohertz peak problem, and the treble in the highs is a little bit dull compared to the DT990 Pro 250 ohm. And somebody said, like, can the toilet paper mod fix it? We put toilet paper under the ear cup pads. No, it can't fix it. In my opinion, there are no treble shards to worry about on this headphone. So the toilet paper mod is just going to make it even duller than it already is. And the 6 kilohertz peak is a problem on other Beyerdynamics that use the same driver. I believe the DT880s use the same driver, and the DT770s use the same driver as the DT990s. It's just the modifications they do, like a closed back or a semi-closed back. And those issues in the pads, for whatever reason, it results in a 6 kilohertz peak problem. And the Pros are the only ones that literally get rid of the 6 kilohertz peak after the pads burn in a little bit, while the 880s and the 990s, even when the pads are worn, they still have the 6 kilohertz peak. So it's a really strange thing that occurs with the DT990 Pro 250 ohm, where the 6 kilohertz peak actually goes away. And so there's something about the combination of the ear cups and the pads that makes the Pro 250 ohm 6 kilohertz peak go away, while on the Premium doesn't it seem like it's going to go away. I did play some music through these at really high volume for like 30 minutes and see if that burned them in. They still sound the same, so I don't know what to think, really. Again, my current beliefs are the pads are the reason why the 6 kilohertz peak goes away, not like driver burn-in, but there could be driver burn-in. I don't know, maybe not. Again, I'm open-minded because I don't know 100% sure what results in, but all I know is the treble is smoother on the DT990 Pro 250 ohm. Like, there's literally no 6 kilohertz peak on these, and the shimmer is just better. While these are a little bit duller, so putting toilet paper in it is just going to make it even duller, which is not what I'm trying to do. And then the 6 kilohertz peak is still there. I tried the toilet paper mod. The 6 kilohertz peak is still there. It just made them duller. So this is, I guess, what DT880 and DT770 people have to experience forever. So if these were measured, I would imagine there would be a 6 kilohertz peak, and the treble would be slightly more rolled off compared to the DT990 Pros. And obviously that's no good. And again, these are cool. I wish I could keep them, but when I listen to that Avril Lavigne Smile song that really pushes treble, these are just crap. So these are clearly better, the Pros. So maybe, like, if I'm just being open-minded here, don't take it with a grain of salt. Maybe if like you use these for 1,000 hours and the 6 kilohertz peak will go away. I don't know. I have no idea. And then even then, like I said, they're still going to be a little bit duller in the treble. They're not going to have the same level of sparkle. So, yeah, there's no way they're going to get brighter. Maybe they do, actually, now that I think about it. Because like the DT770s with fresh pads, they're dull, and then over time they actually get brighter, which is like the inverse of what happens to... It's really weird. Like the 770s, apparently they actually get brighter in the treble the more that you use them, and the DT990 Pro actually gets smoother and a little bit duller, less bright. It's a bunch of weird stuff, So currently I don't have any evidence that these are actually going to get smoother in the treble or maybe brighter in the treble. Anyway, so they're cool. I like their open back design, honestly better than the Pros. But they're just not as good in the treble. I think acoustically below 5K, these are better, the premiums. But, you know, the Pros have a little bit of an edge on the top end. And, yeah, so. Again, most of the time the premiums work fine, but there's quite a few things you'll listen to and you'll notice a little bit better on the Pros. So it's sad. I mean, when you think about it, you know, they're using the same drivers. Just, you know, if you use that logic, you know, it's the same thing. It's just got a cooler cup, cooler, whatever. They're cool. They're not terrible. They're still pretty good compared to what's out there. So again, this is about burn-in and the toilet paper mod, and I think at the end it's the same reason why I got rid of the 600 ohm premium. Like I just realized pretty quickly they're never going to be as bright and sparkly as the Pros, and you know the 6 kilohertz peak was there, and it just wasn't as musical. And although these are closer to the 250 ohm Pros, because you know these are 250 ohm as well, they do sound a little bit closer. You know, again, I don't hate the way they sound. I can tolerate them, you know, don't get me wrong, but yeah, they're just a little bit worse in the treble. But again, I really like, you know, if you're a headphone collector, you might as well buy this too. But you know, I just want to use the best sounding one and not worry about it. But, you know, these have their benefits over the Pros. But anyways, so again, I don't think they're ever going to, maybe they will get it sparkly, or maybe they will get brighter over the time through burn-in of the pads, because again, I mean, it's weird, but I just don't see it happening. You can just tell, you know, listening to these two, that you know, I just don't see them sounding the same, and the Pros sound better. So if they're not going to sound the same, I just don't see it happening. You know, they're just not as sparkly, and the 6K is really just obvious. No, they're literally a little bit more fatiguing, you know. So the Pros are less fatiguing. I just wanted to make this video because you know, I still got a few hours before I return these, and I'm trying. You know, I think you should really, because you don't want to use them for a minute and say, okay, they're not as good, and then put them back in the box and then return them, and then later on you're like, maybe I should have tried the toilet paper mod. Maybe I should have let them burn in a little bit. Maybe I should have maybe I should give them a second chance. No, you know, get it over and done with.